Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppers. Today doing something I thought would be really interesting. Trying to battle a Japanese brewed version of a beer with the European brewed version. So with a lot of big breweries, they have some of their beer contract brewed in other parts of the world because it's easier. For distribution's sake, for freshness sake, if you had to export beer all the way from Japan all the time, for example, or America, whatever, it's easier to have the beer licensed to another company and brewed according to methods and recipes so that you can have a fresher product on shelves. But I thought it would be really fun to do this. I actually thought of, in Japan, bringing some of the European brewed Japanese lagers, but I just didn't have space in my suitcase, and then do a comparison over there. But I didn't. And I'll be frank and say I actually really enjoyed a lot of those Japanese macro lagers, especially Kirin and Ebisu was probably my two favorites. Enjoying them on draft at izakayas. It was great. Not the best beers in the world, of course, but for those settings, they were just nice. And some of them, like Kirin Ichiban, is actually bitter and a little bit grassy and hoppy for a macro beer, which is pretty cool. So we're trying Asahi today, Asahi Super Dry, the European version brewed at Birra Moretti, and the Japanese version. This is not the classic Japanese version. This is the special draft can, where it's supposedly like having Asahi Super Dry on draft. And Asahi Super Dry was actually my least favorite of all the macro brewed big lagers in Japan because it was like the most timid and mild. But it's also one of the most popular, if not the most popular, because it's everywhere. Most places we went to, it was always Asahi on draft. Very, very common. So yeah, 5% Japanese lagers. These are not made with rice. The whole Japanese rice lager thing, it's definitely a thing. But most of the core range beers are just lagers made with, in this case, it's actually cornstarch. And I can't see, of course, here because everything is in Japanese. But most of the time, the Japanese rice lagers are branded as rice lagers as well when you're there. So yeah, without further ado, let's do it. This was cool opening this top here because it like said, and then it fizzed up and it looked like a frothy draft beer. It actually looked really good. I'm actually a bit ashamed that I'm not drinking this from the can. Should have gotten two, so I could have compared the can versus the glass. But I had to get it out of the glass just for comparison's sake. So let's dive in. I think we're going to start with the Japanese one. The only big difference here is the Japanese one is the oldest. That's just how it is. But yeah, I mean, they look pretty identical. The Japanese one is lightly hazy, and that's probably due to age. That will happen with age because of oxidation, among other things, and deterioration in general with the beer. But it looked very, very enticing when I cracked this one. So Asahi Super Dry in the draft can. Let's see. I mean, golden yellow looks like a Japanese macro lager or a macro lager of any kind for that matter. But the head on this was crazy. You can also see there's really good lacing. It actually could make a marshmallow top fluffy head. I'm impressed. But yeah, let's check out the aroma on Asahi Super Dry from Japan, brewed in Japan. Exactly what I remember. Super, super light and understated aromatics on this one. It's like lightly grassy, but it's like just, it just smells like what you think of when you think beer. Like there's not much going on really. It's very soft, crackery malt. But it doesn't smell like sweet or corn syrupy or anything. It just smells kind of like a easygoing lager. Let's try the Japanese one. Cheers. Kanpai. Or kanpai? Kanpai, right? Cheers. It's Asahi Super Dry. It's actually, the stability on this is really good. For being a older can, I actually don't know the date. I just know that it's older. Maybe it expires this month, actually. Or, yeah, it's probably expiring this month because I don't think that's the packaging date. If that's the case, then it's probably a year-old can or something like that. Then that's really impressive. There's no, like, papery notes or anything. It's just, like, sweet, grainy malt. Super dry, for sure. Really crisp. Really crushable, to be honest. Yeah, just easygoing. Lawnmower beer type stuff. Or with, izakaya food. What's weird though, I feel like this is more bitter than I remember drinking it in Japan. Not as bitter as Kirin, for example, and Ebisu. I just remember it being more bitter. Less bitter. Crackery, slightly grassy, just tastes like beer. It's all right. Let's try and move over to the one brewed by Birra Moretti in Italy. So the European version. So first of all, more crystal clear because it's a fresher bottle. This was from August. So this is really fresh. Not as good head retention on this one, and also seems to have lower CO2 levels. At least judging by looking at the glass. Let's check out the aroma. Wow. What a difference. This is more like spritzy and grassy. This is more sweet malty. This is more like what I think of when I think Asahi Super Dry. It's just like more sweet malt and no hop character. This one has a little bit. That is weird. There's actually a difference on the nose. Let's see if there is in the taste. Cheers. Lower CO2, slightly metallic. Wow, it's actually quite different. Lightly metallic, less hoppy, more sweet, more watery. I actually didn't expect there to be any difference, really. But there seems to be a big difference, really. This seems even more macro. It also has like a little bit of a green apple thing. Sweet malt, green apple, metallic notes, dry finish as well, fairly dry, but softer on the CO2, softer, actually a better body on this, it's more fluffy, but I prefer the high spritzy dry effervescence usually in beers like this. Very different. More hoppy, more grassy, more spritzy, more like refreshing and more vibrant, really. Wow. I thought they would be pretty much the same deal. Like next to no difference. Maybe it's because it's this draft can where it's supposed to be like having the beer on draft. I don't know. That kind of doesn't make sense, right? It is. The Japanese version is better. I mean, also look at the head there, the lacing on the glass. Looks great. It's just more clean and tight and bright. Like more of a popping bright hop and snappy profile to it. This seems more dull, more sweet, watery, green appley, metallic. Wow. I bought this on a Japanese grocery shop here in Denmark called Yoshiya, I think you call it. I can put a link for the shop down below because they have a great selection of Japanese ingredients. Lots of like frozen ingredients and so this is one of the only places in Denmark I've been able to find is it kamaboko, the fish cake you use for ramen, and just like a really nice selection of a lot of Japanese things. Also a lot of Japanese drinks. It's also the only place I've been able to find Japanese alcohol pops. So we got some Japanese alcohol pops coming for alcohol review. I'm just like getting all into Japan after being there. Everything is Japanese, cooking Japanese food, all that, just because I long for going back already. It's crazy. But wow, the clear winner is the Japanese brewed version. Like this one I feel iffy about. Like, it's not that great. This I actually want to just pound. It's been a long week. Brewed a huge double mashed 22-hour boil barley wine for barrels. That kind of beer does the job. What? That's so random. It's definitely much more grassy. Citric too, actually. Lemony. It's not like the best beer in the world. Still think it's one of the more boring Japanese lagers. But I did not expect to see such a big difference between the two, to be honest. And it actually does feel a little bit, it has that liveliness you get from on draft from the Japanese lagers at the izakaya. The izakayas. That like freshly frosted mug, freshly poured lager is really, really great when you have a long day walk and you're sitting there eating your Fuji yakitori or your different dons, whatever you're eating. It just hits the spot. I can't believe that there's such a big difference. I mean, they're similar, but it's not the same. That just shows how hard it is to exactly recreate something, because brewing systems and methods, everything is different. Everyone does it their own way. So grades on these, I think I'm gonna give this a 75, as I did the last time I drank it, the European one. I'd still drink it if I was offered a bottle, but this is the better experience. This is fucked up because it's gonna expire this month, if that's the case, because it can't be packaged this month. They wouldn't have gotten a only weeks old shipment, and it just doesn't make sense with shipping. It's just more bright and sippy, peppery too now. Yeah, like an 80. It's all right macro lager. It's not as good as Kirin. Still my favorite, but that was fun. I did not expect that to be, I didn't expect there to be such a big difference. Like, that's random. So yeah, you should do this. I mean, you should try and do this comparison. If you're in Denmark, go to Yoshia, get a can of the Asahi Super Dry Draft Edition, whatever it's called, with a huge tap. It's almost like on a can of beans or something like that. And compare it to one of these. You can get this in a lot of supermarkets now in Denmark. I think I got this in Bilka, huge chain all over the country. And try and get the two and try and make the comparison, because they're definitely different. That was fun, especially if you've been to Japan. Then this would be even more fun. So, what's your favorite Japanese macro lager? Let me know. Mine is still Kirin Ichiban. But if you guys had Asahi Super Dry, let me know what you thought of it, especially all the variants, the classic can, the draft can, and the export bottles. In general, cans are just better at preserving beers. So maybe that's also why this is better and feels more vibrant and stuff, because it's been in a can. Caps let in more oxygen than cans do. So if you guys had Asahi Super Dry, let me know what you thought of it. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers like this. See you guys in another beer review.